This is a review of the Elite 2.0 Double Punch. Included with the Double Punch is two 10-round magazines which come pre-installed, 50 blue Elite 2.0 darts, 50 orange Elite 2.0 darts, and the instructions. The Nerf Double Punch requires 4 AA style batteries to be functional. To get to the battery tray, simply unscrew the single Phillips head screw. Exposed to the battery tray, simply put in your 4 AA style batteries like so. Once you have your batteries installed, put the battery plate back on. Now the gun should be fully functional. The Elite 2.0 Double Punch is a 2-shot single-fire gun in Elite 2.0 series that fires the included Elite 2.0 darts. Starting with the front and explaining how this mechanism works. We have 2 included barrels and 2 separate firing trains, feeding from 2 separate magazines. This really is just 2 guns like welded together at the seams. I will try and explain it if you don't understand. So again, starting with the front, we have 2 barrels. The way the gun operates is by using its ingenious trigger mechanism. 1 gun, 1 barrel, 1 firing train shoots on the down press of the trigger, and the other one actually fires on the release of the trigger. Therefore, you must shoot 2 darts with every trigger pull. However, it is 1 shot for the first stroke and the second shot for the second stroke. Therefore, you can actually delay the second stroke by holding the trigger back and then pushing the trigger forward to get the second stroke. I will explain this all in the firing demo because it is more easy to show you how it works rather than me explaining how it works. Moving at the front, we do have these 2 orange pieces. These are not end strike attachment points, so you cannot attach any barrels or attachments. Moving back, we have this like accordion thing. These do move front and back. In the resting position, one is out, one is closed. This is normal if your gun comes like that. Moving back, we have this really cool clear plastic, and this is really cool. Like if you want to get into modding and you don't really know how like everything works, this is a really cool insight to how guns work. We've got the flywheels, the motor resistors. We got obviously these are motor resistors. We can even see the trigger mechanism working. This is really cool. Moving out, we have an end strike tactical round. To attach attachments, go from back to front, not front to back. Moving underneath, we have some dart storage. The dart storage works quite well. It is not a practical solution to store darts. You do have end strike magazines. However, if you do load up some darts, it will look quite cool. Moving down, we have a grip. This is just a comfortable place to put your front hand. This is quite comfortable, it works quite well, and it is also a good balancing point for the gun. Moving back on the left-hand side of the gun only, we have an access door. To open the access door, simply pull it back. This helps you get your finger in there to clear out any jams or malfunctions. I did not experience any jams or malfunctions while shooting this gun. The gun will not rev with the access door open, so make sure you have it closed before you shoot the gun. This is worth noting because they did go through a phase where they didn't have access door safety switches. Moving down, we have the magazine. Well, there are 2 magazines and 2 magazine releases. To release a magazine, simply press the corresponding mag release to release the magazine. This mechanism works like every other Nerf gun. However, there are 2 stacked right next to each other. You may want to extend your middle finger and press both magazine releases, releasing both magazines at the same time. Or you may only want to press 1 magazine release to release the corresponding magazine. The magazine insertion is quite smooth. However, it is a little bit awkward running this double magazine well. You will eventually get used to it. However, it is a bit quite weird doing stacking magazines and putting them in at the same time. Included are 2 10-round magazines. Just note end strike mag compatibility with this Nerf gun, as you won't be able to fit certain drum magazines into the gun. For example, if I remove both included magazine wells, I have a 18-round drum magazine, and if I place it in the rightmost magazine well, I won't be able to get a magazine in the left magazine well. However, if I place the magazine in the leftmost magazine well, I'll be able to replace my other magazine. This is an 18-dart glow magazine. Now I have 2 18-round magazines inserted into the gun. However, if I did this in a different order, I couldn't actually get them both in. However, if I place the glow mag in the leftmost magazine, well, I won't be able to get another magazine in the left side. So just note all magazines will actually fit in there one at a time, but if you want to stack 2 magazines together, just note that the one magazine doesn't obstruct the other magazine well. And you may also want to choose magazines that have the same storage capacity. You don't want to run out of one magazine before you run out of the second magazine. Just note, this is actually really cool, so actually note this for once. You can actually rev and shoot the gun with one magazine removed. If you remember from the old Rhino fire, if you took out one magazine, the whole gun would shut down, making it kind of useless to have dual magazines. This gun fixes that issue and pretty much is a better Rhino fire. You can shoot each gun independently of one another and reload one magazine while you can still shoot with the other magazine. This is really cool, and I'll talk about it more in my opinion. Moving back, we have the grip. The grip was quite nice, again with the double magazine release. The trigger is quite unique, as mentioned previously. It is a 2-stroke trigger, meaning it does shoot once on the pull stroke and once on the return stroke, so it is quite unique feeling, but it is extremely smooth and works quite well. So I'm very happy with that, because that would have been easy to mess up. Moving down, we have the rev switch. This is a flywheel operated gun. You want to hold down the rev switch for a second or two before pulling the primary trigger to make sure the flywheels are at max RPM before you shoot your first dart. Pressing the rev switch revs both flywheels, and everything is done completely for you with the two guns taped together. Moving back, we have a small stock. This is a bit unusable for anyone who's like not a but this is where the batteries are held. To insert batteries, simply remove the single Phillips head screw, place in 4 AA style batteries, and place back the battery cover. The reason why the batteries are stored here is because the gun is so front heavy, therefore it balances off the weight. The weight balancing is actually quite nice. If you put your hand on the magazine wells, it balances pretty damn well on the magazine wells. So the gun is quite big and heavy, however it is manageable due to the weight distribution. This is something that Nerf can absolutely get right to any other company. So I'll show you firing. Firing some blue and orange Elite 2.0 darts. Same again, but a bit quicker. Now for some Econ waffle head darts, they're in both mags. So now I'm going to show you the interesting trigger system. So I'm going to shoot it more single fire by holding down the trigger into the rear position, shooting 1, and then returning it slowly to the forward position. So I'm pretty much shooting 1, 1, 1, 1. So it's still the same way, it's just a lot slower. So I'll just show you now. Okay, now onto the firing analysis. The gun shoots well, the gun shoots nicely. However, it is quite unique and is nothing like any other gun that I've shot personally before. However, I could find myself getting familiar with this gun quite easily. Again, just note that the gun does shoot as two guns independently of one another, and this is quite unique. The gun does shoot quite well, and it is a unique experience, as you won't be able to find anything else on the market like this. Now for my personal opinion. I think the gun is great. I actually really enjoyed shooting this gun. This is a quite fun gun to use. And I just want to note one benefit with this double shooting mechanism. When you're shooting a regular flywheel gun and you hold down the rev switch and start pulling the trigger really fast, you'll get a lot of bog down because you're inserting the dart too quickly into the flywheels that the flywheels can't actually keep up, and your dart velocity will drastically drop as you go low into the magazine. So the first one will be super hard because you hold down the rev switch, and then it will slowly bog its way down. So you'll have like darts going like this, and then it'll just go like that and it'll drop off. This gun doesn't suffer from that as much. You are shooting two darts at once. So what it pretty much means is you have a bigger break for the flywheels to spin back up again, so you can actually shoot faster and harder for longer. It is quite a unique experience because when I'm holding down the trigger and the rev switch and pressing the trigger, when I'm shooting the second dart, it's actually not coming from the same gun. Therefore, that gun has more time to rev up for when I press the trigger again, and then that one will shoot again. So it is actually quite good, and it is a foam shooting machine. And for that reason, I think this is a great gun. I think if you only had one gun, this gun would be pretty damn effective. Note the magazine compatibility. It will fit every magazine. However, if I'm going to use a 25 round drum, I won't be able to fit another magazine in the other magazine well. Just note that. And if you don't have a lot of stick magazines or you only have a lot of drums, this gun might not be for you because you won't be able to run your magazines and your gear in this thing. Apart from that, my personal opinion on the gun, I really like it. I think this is a great gun. I think that this is something innovative that has never been done before, and you don't see any other companies doing it. I like the paint job. It looks pretty nice, green and blue. Obviously, from some of my modified guns, I do like that paint job. I like the clear plastic. This is that's really cool. Like being able to look into the gun like that is really sick. I do like how they actually they painted both sides. Like you can see the Elite 2.0 logo on both sides. Of course, that's not actually painted. That's like engraved into the shell with the orange flashing through. But they really didn't skip on this gun. This gun is actually really, really nice. So to buy or not to buy? I think personally, if you're new to the hobby and you really want to just have as much fun shooting foam as possible, I think this gun would be great for you. If you're a target cup shooter, and I think there is a good majority of us in the hobby that just like shooting targets, this gun might not be for you, because as you line up your sights, you don't know which barrel is going to shoot, so you don't really know where to aim. If you want something like that, get a Strife, get a SMGE, get like a Storm Charger, something like that. However, I think this gun is really great. For the modding community, I don't really see any mods being done on this gun. This gun, for everyone who kind of hasn't really got the gist, is pretty much just a modded gun. If you want to check Coop772's Hyperfire video modification, he pretty much just strapped three rapid strikes together and called it another gun. This is pretty much what they've done, but like big budget. So I don't think the modding potential in this gun is very high, but you don't buy a gun like this to modify it. You buy this gun to freaking shoot foam out of the box, and it's really fun. For the performance nerfers who are shooting like player versus player or player versus zombies, I don't think this is the most effective gun, because this magazine, like having to switch out on like a quick, like I can do it now, like sitting down looking at a camera. However, if people are running at me, I'm trying to kill this guy as quick as possible. I don't think this magazine well is going to piss you off a lot. Okay, I hope I've provided all the objective information you need if you want to purchase, if you make a purchase decision of your own. I'll leave a link in the description box below if you'd like to purchase one. I'll try and leave an American link and an Australian link. Apart from that, thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.